All right, so thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Sandra Ramsey. I'm the Director of Enrollment Services at SUNY Westchester Community College and also the lead for our SUNY Reach team. And I have my wonderful colleagues with me today. John, if you would please advance to the next slide. Myself, just introduced, we have Professor John Watkins, who is the Curriculum Chair for Cybersecurity, Professor Deborah Cricken, who is the Curriculum Chair for Interactive Technologies, Professor Sue Terrell Clark, Curriculum Chair for Health Information Technologies, and Mr. Ed Tatton III, who is our Manager of Creative Communications, and you'll hear from all of us today. Next slide, please. All right, so our order of presentation, we're going to give you a quick overview of SUNY Reach. I know there was another session on this, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but we wanted to give you, for those who are not familiar with Reach, a quick overview, the types of supports and the kinds of outreach that we conduct. And then you're going to hear from our awesome faculty members about what they're doing in the Reach pathways, and we'll end with our accomplishment, next steps, and some Q&A. Next slide, please. All right, so SUNY Reach is actually a national collaborative that's funded by the Lumina Foundation. I know that they did a presentation early this week. They provided $8 million over 2 years to 6 states: New York, California, Colorado, North Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. And the goal is to acknowledge, first of all, and address educational pathway needs and the lived experiences of adult students of color, specifically adult students of color who are Black, Hispanic, or Native American aged 25 to 64. And it's Lumina Foundation's affirmation of their commitment to racial equity. Next slide, please. So here are the facts, some facts. There are over 30 million adults national, and I believe the Lumina presentation yesterday, the most recent numbers are as high as 40 million who have some college but no credential. Black, African American, and Latinx, some college, no credential students made up about 43% of the total as of July 2021, though only 34% of these students appear as undergraduates overall. African Americans are the group with the highest percentage of adults who have some college and no degree. We know there is a national crisis around African American students. It's something that needs to be addressed both at the national level and at the local level. At SUNY Westchester Community College, for example, we lost about 1/3 of our Black male students from 2019 to 2021, and about 1/4 of all of our Black students. But we're seeing here that our Black students are enrolling in college, but they're not, they're being left behind and they're leaving. And we have to examine ourselves and ask, why is this happening? And what can we do to resolve this? Additionally, there are 220,000 Westchester County residents aged 25 years and above, and Westchester County is where our college is located. They have, these individuals have only a high school diploma or some college, but no degree. And most of these residents are people of color. So again, it is a social justice and an economic justice issue. About 48% of US adults aged 25 years and older have a college degree, 48%, 15% have some college, no degree. And I mentioned the breakdown earlier. Now, when we disaggregate this data, we're seeing that the disparities are even starker. 67% of Asian adults, 53% of white, non-Latinx adults, 38% of African Americans, and 30% of Latinx adults have earned college degrees. Next slide, please. So what's the aim of the Reach Collaborative? Well, the overall goal and aim is to achieve at least a 2% increase in credential attainment among adult learners of color aged 25 to 64 in the 6 states that were mentioned previously by aligning high value, quality non-degree and credit credentials in 4 to 8 pathways that will lead to family sustaining jobs. Bundling and sequencing our supports within the pathways, integrating culturally sustaining pedagogy and supports, and dismantling barriers that contributes to disparate outcomes for adult learners of color. Next slide, please. This, of course, is embedded within SUNY Reach is the SUNY's guided pathways model. The goal is to clarify the path, and Reach is aiming to do a lot of clarifying pathways for adult learners of color to help them decide what's the best path for them and to get them on that path. Then to help the students stay on the path and to ensure that learning is occurring with intentional outcomes. Next slide, please. All right, so we have service and supports that are dedicated to our adult learners. We're thrilled that we were able to hire a part-time program specialist, Ms. Carol Deemer, who comes to us with tremendous experience and has hit the ground running since February. And her goal is to really help both our non-credit students transition to credit programs. And for our online credit programs, helping those students and all our adult students that she will serve, that we serve, transition to associate degrees. We connect them to academic supports, financial supports, childcare, both at the Virginia Marks Children's Center and in the community, to the Department of Social Services and Labor government areas that provide assistance to our students, on-campus food assistance, as well as off-campus, transportation, veteran supports, the Westchester Putnam Career Center Network, and the like. All right, so now I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Ed Tatton, who will take the next slide.
Thank you, Sandra. So let's discuss the importance of targeted communications in reaching prospective adult learners. At SUNY Westchester Community College, we understand that effective communication is key to connecting with these adult learners and improving their educational outcomes. By utilizing a variety of communication channels, we can analyze data and optimize our outreach efforts. To achieve this, we've implemented a multi-pronged approach, which includes the purchase of College App Database. This comprehensive database provides us with mailing addresses, email addresses, phone numbers, and more for adults in our college service area. The data within that database is like the data that's been used in politics and marketing for years. Cambridge Analytica was how many years ago already? So it's good to see some of this data being used in higher ed. The proprietary algorithm embedded within that software also predicts the adult intent for education and training. That allows us to connect with potential students more effectively by essentially grading our leads, allowing us to prioritize outreach, those most likely to enroll. In our marketing and outreach efforts, we use a wide array of channels to reach adult learners. You can see that full bulleted list on the slide, but I quickly want to mention the last bullet point. Testimonial videos of adult learners, which is one of my favorites to work on because nothing motivates me more than sharing the amazing stories these students have to tell. More importantly, these stories resonate greatly with our audience, and our data has shown that this type of content outperforms any other content we share. Nothing sells a college or university like a good first-person review, and that's essentially what those videos are. Additionally, we actively engage with community-based organizations to extend our reach and build valuable partnerships. This collaborative approach helps us to identify, support, and empower adult learners in our community. In conclusion, targeted communication plays a crucial role in the success of our outreach efforts. By employing a diverse range of channels and leveraging data-driven insights, we can create more effective and personalized connections with prospective adult learners. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Strategic marketing and communications has been such a key player in this initiative. And this is our pathways at SUNY Westchester Community College. We engage with community and employer partners, or with the exception of the 100% online credit certificates. Just a note that currently our students who are in non-credit programs will be supported through applying using regular admissions procedures. So for our SUNY 100% online pathways, we have our cybersecurity certificate that leads directly into the cybersecurity associate's degree, medical billing that can go directly into the health information technology associate degree, or our students could take some additional credits and obtain the medical coding certificate, which also then feeds into HIT associate's degree. For our non-credit to credit, we work with our workforce development and community education division in advanced manufacturing, certified production technician. These students, we're working on articulation agreements currently for these. However, the chair of the mechanical technical technology engineering program may waive students at his discretion out of Manufacturing 101 if they successfully complete the advanced manufacturing certification. Or mixed reality certificate at our Peekskill Center and Adobe, they work very closely with our iTech associate's degree, and you'll hear more about that later on. Certified nursing assistant, certified pharmacy tech, certified clinical medical assistant. We're hoping to move these students into the community health and case management certificate, eventually move into health studies. And we recognize a number of our non-credit students who begin in the health fields, may not be aware that there are options available to them. So our goal is to both inform and support our students as they move from non-credit to credit. Similarly, we do the same. We work with our Westchester Educational Opportunity Center. They are CNA, home health aid students, certified farm tech students, and certified medical administrative assistant students. Again, we plan to work with them to move them into the community health certificate and eventually into the health studies degree. Now, I do know an initial question that we'll get is, well, what about those who want to do nursing and rad tech and other health programs? The goal is to make sure that our students can move seamlessly. We don't want to put additional barriers in their way. There are additional steps that students need to take to get into nursing and our allied health programs. We will inform our students of that, but to make sure that we can move students through the pathways, this is the plan that we have to eventually move them into the health studies program. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to Professor Deb Cricken.
Thank you, Dr. Ramsey. So I'm going to cover some groundwork. I'm full-time faculty teaching interactive technologies for over 25 years, as we used to call it digital arts, and now we have it titled as interactive technologies. So not only do we have a crisis in adult learners, we also have a crisis in students not understanding technology. And it's even more of an issue because technology is evolving so quickly. John, you can, next slide, thank you. So technology is very interdisciplinary. If anyone knows business, you can see how incredibly complex they are. This is why iTech offers digital marketing, web design and development, UX, UI, as well as computer animation and game design. This is what we call the front end development of design and development of prototypes. But many professionals know that any business needs these skills. So as far as where the job market is, there is a 23% increase of job opportunities in the web design and development, UX, UI, simply because it's interactive. So it's important to offer to these adult learners the opportunity to pick and choose. And I highly recommend the aspect that ever since our unfortunate pandemic, everything has turned upside down. And it goes for us as well in the educational industry, such as social media or newspapers or government, because everyone now is screen dependent on access for information. And it's fantastic because now our modality of teaching can really expand to many different styles that can be accommodating for those adult learners who more than likely will be working during the day. Next slide, John. So I really was thinking about the why I was so interested in micro-credentials right when SUNY launched them. And I'm excited that now our faculty have approved of the credit base. We're now working on non-credit to credit, but we can actually take off right now with this model example that I'm going to show you, which is I will be presenting this to our Senate as well. So the one thing that I have always valued is the partnerships within our institution for the non-credit and the credit. When those two institutions can work together, they support each other, and micro-credential is offering that opportunity for us. That becomes the package that drives us together because it really helps us to support each other, because they can launch, non-credit can launch innovative classes and really see how viable it is. And so I tried to do the math on how do I get a credit-based class to be approved for a non-credit class. And so we sat down together and said, well, it's just math. If there are less, our classes are 60 hours of contact for 3 credits. If you take a non-credit class, do the math so you can add the additional class to the hours to lab, so that if you have a lab with someone who's experienced in the topic and learning outcomes, they can be in the lab and be signed in, and then that way they have the face-to-face or different modality, whatever they have the hours to be able to present for the ability to do PLA, prior learning assessment, and move it over to the credit base. So, and in that context, that financial aid is the nugget to let them know that that is the path for them to go. Next slide, John. So having this package, I was all geared up to do a certificate. But when I saw that the micro-credentials was finally moving through the college, I said, micro-credentials is the way to go, is because I can change it up. I can take the existing courses and package them to be specific to what the students will be taking. And all of it comes into the associate's degree. So the non-credit class of some of the UX game design and the content level game, they're all in an existing non-credit class. If they take those 3 classes, then they will be able to be offered credit-based that will move right into the associates. I put this classified ad up here, and it's just literally March, and it demonstrates the multiplicity of the skills that is needed for just one job. And all of it covers the interactive technology classes, which is so valuable when adult learners are looking about how can I get in that job, even as they may be learning and continuing their education as we all do. Next class. Slide, John, thank you. So I said next class, right? Next slide. So here's where we want to really change the modality of educational experience. First of all, when I came to WCC, I'm a late educator. I primarily worked in the studios. And when I came here, I realized that 25% of my class was always adult learners. When the internet came about, all those adult learners went online. Understandably, it's a modality that's easy to deliver. So the model example that I'm showing here is, and all of you have experienced this in your own personal lives, it's called the masterclass. The masterclass is where professional practitioners come and talk to you in about 3 videos, and you kind of get sort of a summary of their life work, tips, and so forth. And I said, this is where the academic world needs to be, because those learning experiences are exciting and they're engaging. And that's one thing students want to be, adult or young adults, they want to be engaged and see how things are actually contextualized into the professional world. So here is an example of how we can actually make this possible, because everything comes down to finance. And I had run this by SUNY before, and they thought, absolutely, this is a very good possibility as a model example of offering a class. So shared finances, if you take 1 community college and 2 four-year colleges, which you hope to have an articulation with, and you have a rock star practitioner doing the class for so many weeks and so many hours, and of course the additional lab hours if the practitioner can only give us so many hours. And that already begins our partnership for articulation for our community colleges to transfer. And then the other important thing is that those 3 colleges would become an advisory team about what should we do next year? What is the current thing that's being taken? Our students take this class, their students take this class, they can be transferred. The other thing that's important is that it's going to be recorded, like this session right now. It will be archived. So not only is it professional development for your faculty, who also need to be learning new current trends in technology, but it's also there for other faculty, other classes to be utilizing a video here or there from this particular session. The other component is that it's a huge boost in public relations. We have a rock star practitioner who's teaching a class. That alone will engage students to be. And the modality of the class can be for HyFlex, asynchronous, or actually it wouldn't be asynchronous. You want to be right face-to-face with the practitioner with questions. So it really would be remote or HyFlex. So HyFlex can get that adult learner to come into the class if they so want to. Next slide, John.
My
So to
name
wrap this
is
up,
Ivan
here's the
Woodard.
testimonial.
Name
Thank you, Jen.
is Ivan Woodard, and my major is the Interaction Design AAS, and it's the specialization for UX and web design. So I was kind of looking through the catalog of the college, and I discovered the interactive design specialization. I reached out to the department head, and she was like, "Yeah, come on aboard. You know, like I'll guide you through everything." The technology that they offer here is a little bit more than they have in Valhalla. Also, the courses that I had specifically were taught here in Peekskill, and some were taught in Valhalla, but I just preferred to be here. There's a little bit more, like I said, technology to use. I can come into the studio and work when I need to. For working people like me, there's a lot of flexibility in the courses and also in the professors. My professor, Deborah Kirkin, she offers the in-person classes, but she also offers the Zoom courses. So if you miss a class, you can just go watch her Zoom channel. And I find most of the teachers here to be actually very accessible, which I think is really important because I took the specialization to sort of pivot in my career. I wanted a little bit more career advancement, flexibility, to be able to learn new technology and new skills, and I really wasn't getting that in my last career. So these classes, they work for me. They're very applicable to what you would ideally do in a real life situation. I've used a lot of the skills that I've gained from these classes actually applying for jobs. My name is...
Thank you.
Professor Terrell Clark, you're up next.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Today, I'm going to share with you some of our successes partnering with our community partners in expanding our reach. Next slide, please. Health information technology is a very big field. Professionals that graduate from this degree or degrees that lead up to it, which I'll explain in the next couple of slides, have opportunities to fill a lot of gaps in healthcare organizations. Being in Westchester and specifically in Hudson Valley, as per New York State Department of Labor, HIT job opportunities are expected to grow by 24% faster than other professions nearby by 2026. At any given time, if you look at job openings in revenue cycle, health information, patient accounts, patient access, and related fields that these type of professionals will fill in the gap, you see that there's quite a bit of openings, especially in the Westchester region. What we have done in order to expand our reach efforts is work with these healthcare organizations to understand how we can support their staff, adult learners, in ways where they can either advance within their own roles or be able to fill in gaps in other departments where they couldn't fill through many efforts. In this pathway, we've met with Westchester Medical Center is one of our biggest partners. We are very close with our Valhalla campus. We met with their leadership. We actually designed specific cohort to educate their staff in coding as per their choice. And these staff members who graduated and have gained, and these adult learners gained these extra skill sets, have advanced their jobs and taken roles in the organization to move into other opportunities. They are very happy with this partnership and are looking to expand this partnership. And we are meeting to understand where else can we expand it in the network. Also, these staff members who graduated from the coding cohort last year have also rolled into our associate's degree, some of them, to advance their careers, because the pathway is very big, and this was just a stepping stone for them. Currently, they're also our biggest hiring body of our regular students that are not employed by Westchester Medical Center, partly because of our relationship. They give our students an opportunity for interviews, and also through our reference and our communications on an ongoing basis, our students are offered an opportunity to interview and be hired. Recently, they hired 8 graduates from us directly, and it's wonderful to partner with them. And we're looking forward to expand our partnership. Majority of our students are all adult learners. Next slide. Also, in a similar way, as we partner with Westchester Medical Center Network, we are also partnering in the beginning stages with Northwell. We provided pathways of how they could fill their gaps within revenue cycle health information management. And our own foundation have reached out to them and have a meeting on explaining how we can meet these gaps in employment, how we can help their staff grow through stages, which I'm going to explain in the next slide, whether through a certificate or multiple certificates, and then maybe interested in going into associates so that they can fill the gaps within their organizations. And as you can imagine, Northern Westchester and Phelps Hospital located in Westchester, but their community is much wider than that. Organizations that they can reach is much larger than that. And we could help fit these adult learners with their new skill sets into some of the vacancies that they were hoping to fill in these areas. Next slide, please. So the way that they can learn, adult learners, is if they haven't been in school for a very long time, but they're looking to do something and they're trying to improve their skills, we have the medical billing certificate, which is the most quickest way. It's kind of like a micro credential, 24 credits in and out type of education online, available to them after work hours, offered in the evening at the comfort of their home. And they could complete their studies and take certification exams that will qualify them to sit in many different types of roles within that organization, as well as others. Also, if they wanted to continue learning by switching into medical coding certificate, basically covers everything that was in the billing and teaches them how to really code medical charts. They can then sit for the coding certification exams and be a certified coder and be able to fill some of the gaps in this area. And then we have, of course, the associate's degree, where it covers both of the knowledge and education in these certificates and adds additional knowledge base on how to manage budgets, people, electronic health records, and focus on privacy and security. And through the national certification exam, they could be certified registered health information technicians in the future. Through these, we are advancing adult learners their opportunities to grow, welcome them back to the workforce, or advance them within the workforce. And our partners are the key. Our healthcare facility partners are the key to this success. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Professor Watkins, you're next.
Hi, I'm Professor John Watkins. I'm the Cybersecurity Curriculum Chair at SUNY Westchester. I'm also the Director of our Center of Academic Excellence, Cybersecurity Defense Education. Our program is certified by the national federal agencies, NSA and DHS. We follow the guideline of the CAE schools and Centers of Academic Excellence in Cyber. And it's really interesting because in our program, not only we have a degree, an AAS degree program, but we also have a certificate program in place, and they're both certified under the CAE umbrella. What it means, we have to follow these strong guidelines by the federal government in the education, in preparing students for the workforce, as well as helping fill the gaps, because there are way too many cybersecurity jobs and not enough people. I mean, not enough people to actually fill up those positions. I think the latest numbers were over 70,000 cybersecurity positions open in the federal government, and they don't have enough bodies to get there. So let me talk about our certificate program here. And, we are CAE certified, of course. We were the first certificate program on campus to be 100% offered online, which means even before the pandemic and even before the Zoom sessions, students could actually take our asynchronous classes and become certified in our cyber certificate. And now, after the Zoom era here, our students can actually take the Zoom classes, or they can do the asynchronous as well. But what's most important here is we are very technical. We have to be very technical. Our advisory board every year recommends you have to be even more technical than what you are right now, because that will increase the chances of students finding employment. And so what we do is we utilize a diverse number of technologies to teach the students, to offer them the experience online, and be able to enrich their resumes. And because of that, we are always updating and upgrading. The joke in my department is, by the time I retired, after I retired, I'm gonna pick something completely different to do, like, I don't know, ice sculpture, because I would need to move away from technology since it's constant. We have to change things in months, before semester starts, because a new operating systems or a new language or something new, it's in the arena, and then we have to incorporate in our classes. So our program, the layout, it starts from high school, of course, but under SUNY Reach umbrella, we're grabbing the students right here, right at the program. It's important to explain that we are a little bit different than the typical cybersecurity program that you see it out there. We have a very strong beyond the classroom opportunities and experiences that we have students be part of. I'm going to explain that in a second. And the recruitment, one of the things that I actually encounter is there are a lot of minor recruitment issues. And when I joined the SUNY Reach group here, part of the recruitment is I bring that everywhere. I contact companies. I went to a cell phone store. I talked to the manager. Is that okay if I talk to your staff? Everybody was open. And then all of a sudden, 2 of the employees on the Sprint store were joining our certificate program. And it's everywhere. We can reach them anywhere. And we are not just helping a community, we are part of that community, being at Westchester County and have all these amazing diversity on campus. We also started an alliance. I call it an alliance because it sounds really cool. It's the Workforce Cyber Alliance, where we are helping organizations as well as presenting to non-credit students during their classes to introduce our courses, to introduce our degree programs. And it's creating another type of non-traditional pipeline right into our program. Now, the recruitment is working out really well. We already surpassed the percentage numbers on our grant requirements. But one of the things I'm finding out is students are not just going for the certificate. They said, this is great. They joined actually in the degree program, which is not necessarily what we were trying to do. We were trying to help them get certificate programs. But it's okay. We find workarounds here. Also, what we encounter as part of issues here, many of them, obviously adults, they're working full time, they have families, they have to pay. Well, they're not going to choose to attend full time. They actually joining our certificate programs part time, and it's totally understandable. And of course, they require more support, but it's support in a little bit different area. It's support in finance, support in maybe tutoring for a class, or even guidance, not just to prepare for a class, but also to create a career plan and to understand what is going to happen next. So the biggest struggle in our program is how can we elevate the student online experience? The students are taking the certificate program 100% online. So that way it's similar, it's parallel to what we are doing in the in-person program. If you look at over here, an in-person program, again, that they're very strong beyond the classroom experience. We have students, we advise them, we create career plans. Students are not only attending conferences, but they are presenting at conferences. They are participating at events. They are getting certifications while taking our classes. An average student cybersecurity program will graduate with at least 2 IT recognized certifications, CompTIA, Microsoft, EC Council, and so on. Our students also compete in national events, national competitions. This year, SUNY Westchester was 3rd place on the International Cyber League. We're the only community college in the top 20, and we got 3rd place. Thanks for being a very technical program. That helped them, gain that. So what's happening now is, how can we translate this and have that experience online for the 100% certificates program and students? So what we do, we wow the student. I want to mute this. We do videos and outreach and flip books and all different types of information that is not playing right now. Oh, it is. So we wow them. We wow so the way they're excited, they see what it is, and then they meet with me. Once they meet with me as a curriculum chair, I'm able to show them, this is the plan, this is what we can do, these are the areas that we can actually, that you're going to gain knowledge. And every experience has to be dedicated to enhance their resumes. Remember, as an AAS degree program, our primary focus is to prepare them for the workforce. And it doesn't take much to wow anybody on cyber. Half of New York State is going to be hacked in the next 10 years, according to some of the knowledges and surveys out there. So it's really, cyber is everywhere. So it's really easy, that part of the job for me. But anyway, so some of the current projects that I'm involved right now, it's what we call the intrusive advisement. The SUNY Reach certificate program students, not only we advise them for classes, but we also learn more about their lives. Learn about, oh, he has a family, oh, he's a single dad, because that changes what they're going to be advised to do next. So it almost becomes this life coaching as part of your advisement component as a curriculum chair. We are working now creating an online internship, all dedicated for the 100% online students. And it's very similar to what Missy with NSA did last year. Again, it was an online internship program, 12 weeks, designed for 4-year school students. But we broke that. We got one Westchester Community College student there, and he changed everything because he was exciting, one of the top students. And NSA and Missy, they start actually signing up more and more community college students after that. We have been utilizing grants. We partner with other programs on campus, so students can actually get IT recognized certifications under these grants umbrellas. And we actually expanded scholarships to look specifically at external scholarships. For example, Microsoft has a cyber scholarship where students will get a LinkedIn full account, access to LinkedIn training, and some of them can actually opt in to receive payments for a voucher. So, and there's many others. You know, we mapped out over 120 scholarships, external scholarships that students could actually go after. And, you know, and then increasing the online tutors available to help students on a one-on-one. During the pandemic, we had a very successful online one-on-one tutorial under the CIS and cybersecurity program. And they want that, you know, students need that in place. And it's very automated. The student will make an appointment, they receive a call from a tutor, and then a half an hour to an hour meeting and to help them succeed. And this is basically what the cybersecurity program is doing right now. But remember, ultimately, the goal here is to get the students through the program, is go beyond the classroom experience, but also, you know, achieve student success through empowerment. If we empower them, they're going to go all the way to the end. They're going to get into full-time jobs. They're going to get into positions, and then come back as really, you know, come back to us as a perfect alumni.
Thank you so much, Professor Watkins, for that comprehensive presentation. And I'm going to wrap it up very quickly because I know they have another one coming up. So here are some select accomplishments. As you can tell, we have some talented, passionate, incredible faculty at SUNY Westchester Community College. Select accomplishments, Professor Cricken mentioned this, the first ever micro-credential policy in October 2022. Woohoo! We were invited to join Credential as You Go's 2023 cohort, which is about building an incremental credentialing system that recognizes students for what they know and can do, and that learning doesn't just take place in the classroom. We hired a program specialist, and there, as you can see, is so much more, so much more collaboration between credit and non-credit programs. Our next steps, we're going to have an information session for students in the summer. We have had on-campus sessions, and now it's time for the students, increased case management of our adult learners of color, streamlining of our data collection and tracking, especially as it pertains to non-credit data, technology enhancements, you heard from Mr. Tatton, and of course, ongoing community outreach and employer partnerships that were clear in the presentations by Professor Terrell Clark, Professor Cricken, and Professor Watkins. So with that, we say thank you so much for joining us. And I don't know if there are any questions, but we will take any questions now. Thank you.
I don't see any questions, but I see a heart flowing somewhere. There.
Thank you so much for a phenomenal presentation. And as a former adult student, please continue championing those adult students that come your way. You have no idea exactly how much you are empowering them. So wonderful. I'm going to stop the recording and